In this video, we're going to be talking about a very important subject for all men to understand, which is the idea of forced submission, of trying to force your way to get other people to submit to you and thinking that that is dominance. What actually is dominance, what is actually submission, why it's always voluntary. And these are mistakes that I've made in my past. I can teach you from them. I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, build the physique you want, get the girls you want, and go from the victim mindset to what I call the Bulldog Mindset, all important components of being the man that you're capable of being. If that sounds like you, click that subscribe button and join us on this quest. Do you think this shows a lack of submission on the part of the woman? Isn't the woman most attracted to you when you have her in a submitted state? And then I said, forced submission is tyranny, earns you nothing but temporary compliance, and is weakness. True submission is always voluntary. I've learned this lesson the hard way in life. He says, blatant show of disrespect without some kind of consequence shows weakness, ? Having a hard time wrapping my mind around this. What am I missing? See, the thing about this is that what you have to understand here, what you're missing, is that true submission is always voluntary. It's impossible to have true submission, to have someone submit to you by some kind of force, all right? And what I mean by that is that if you think about it, right, you can get someone to perform actions, to act in such a way, but you cannot actually change their mind and their mindset. If someone wants to submit to you, to your authority, to your dominance, they have to feel that they want to submit it. Okay, that they have to feel that they want to submit their own will or themselves to you. Okay, otherwise it is fake. It is a forced submission, which is not real true submission. Okay, in order for someone to submit, literally it means for them to give in, for them to defer to you. And you can try to assert dominance by getting other people to fall in line. And it doesn't just apply to women, right? You can do this with other men or in your work or wherever it is, and you can try as the leader, as the boss, to force people to submit to you, and they will only do it in action but not in spirit, right? True submission is in spirit, and that is, for what we're talking about in this video, that's what creates attraction, right? A woman is going to be attracted to a man who's dominant, who she perceives as dominant and wants to submit to. Whereas if he's forcing his dominance, if he believes that he's dominant, if he's trying to assert it, it's almost the opposite, right? It shows a weaker position. You want to try as a man to win minds and hearts, right? It's important. If you really want to be a leader, if you really want to be dominant and show true leadership, you have to win minds and hearts. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a place for assertiveness and violence. You should be assertive, okay? And there's even a place for violence, okay? Not in the context of male-female attraction, at least in this particular. Let's just avoid that, because that's not at all what I'm condoning. But what I'm saying is that there are places where you will have to be somewhat forceful, where you will have to make your will known and assert yourself. Ultimately, you need to win minds and hearts. And if you're not doing that, it's not going to matter, right? If you let's take a scenario of being the boss, okay? As the boss, if all you do is rule by fear, okay? If you're the tyrannical dictator who rules by fear, people will listen to you except for when you're not looking, when they can get away with it, because their hearts and minds are not submitted to you. So you may be able to get them to do things or to act like they're submitted, but they're not really submitted. It's not true dominance. They don't feel like you are superior in some way. They feel like you have them over a barrel, that you have the edge on them, and they have to comply at this point in time. But given the chance to revolt and take off your head, they will. All right, that's not the place you want to be. If you've earned the respect of the person, if the person has submitted to you previously, and they trust your wisdom, they trust your leadership, okay, and they want your favor, okay, and they feel the dominance that you are projecting, okay, and they voluntarily submitted to that, then even using that degree of force, which will be the minimal amount required, they will submit. They will say, okay, yes. And they will do it, even though they initially disagreed, because their heart and mind is still one. They're still on your side. But if you take someone who you haven't won the hearts and the minds, and you put them in that situation, they may agree, but again, it will only be because they have to. It's not true submission. All right, so it will not be dominant. When you see a person that is trying to beat another person to submission by forced submission, whether that be by physical force or by verbal abuse, it does not look like that person is strong. The strongest person is the person who is able to lead and people want to follow, who inspires, who people willingly submit themselves to, right? As a man, being dominant, okay, in the male-female relationship, again, it's the same thing. If you try to force submission, if you're like, oh, she's stepping out of line, so I better show her who's fucking boss, you're going to look weak. The smaller the threat, the less the reaction. If you are an elephant and an ant bites you, okay, a little ant, if you react and you scream and run and you're scared and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this ant bit me, you must not be a fucking elephant. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's weak, all right? The more powerful you are, the more dominant you are, the less shit phases you. It doesn't matter what some fucking ant did or some gnat, all right? And so if you really want to come across as dominant, you don't want to react. You don't want to be like, oh, fuck you, and take vengeance on people, right? And like handle shit when someone disrespects you every single time. It's a very, very weak position. If you're super strong, okay, if you're super dominant, if you can handle your shit, all right, if you're that kind of person, if you're the fucking big ape or the elephant, there's not a lot that you will engage and you will get into conflict and you will assert yourself when necessary, when you feel like there is a significant enough threat that it requires your physical force or your verbal force to make the situation happen. You're going to not worry about people disrespecting you because it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, not to say that you should just go on and let people abuse you and disrespect you. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that you should not take any of that shit personally. You may deal with things, but you're not going to deal with it at an emotional level. All right. The other thing about this is, he talked about this idea of disrespect. Well, you have three options if someone disrespects you, if a woman disrespects you, for example. Okay, you say, well, I'm not going to tolerate this shit. That's not an option. One of the three options is you can change it. You can affect that by changing it, by stating what it is. Okay? It's not for submission. You're not saying you have to, like, I'm going to penalize you in some way, or there's going to be punishment, right? Threats are weak. Threats are weakness. Instead, you're just indicating, you're stating the thing. You're trying to change the thing, okay, by taking that action or changing the situation. The second thing you can do is you can leave the situation. If you're being disrespected, if a woman is treating you poorly, if she's not submitting to you and you want her to be submitting to you, if you want to be dominant, okay, the most dominant action that you can do when someone is challenging your authority or challenging your dominance, okay, is to just leave. Just to exit the situation, just to be like, fuck you. All right, we're done. All right, that's it. Right? You don't even say that. You just think that in your head, like, well, fuck it. All right, and you're out of there because you got better things to do. You're a fucking big elephant. You don't care about a fucking ant, right? That's the attitude that you have to have if you want to maintain that dominant frame. Again, I know some of the stuff I'm saying here is highly offensive, okay? Because you're interpreting this, but this is the real fucking dynamics of power. I'm not holding back some shit from you guys and pretending like something isn't what it is. Everything comes down to this shit. And then the third option you have is to accept it, okay? And in that case, it really means to ignore it, all right? So if you're being disrespected, you can just accept it, which really means to ignore it. Again, like I was talking about, the elephant is like, I don't really give a fuck, okay? If someone is going to, and a lot of you guys, you need to understand this. And this is the big problem that I got into with the MGTOW guys all blowing up and commenting on one of the videos I did, was that they don't understand that, like, being more of a man and being dominant is not taking any shit, okay? It's being able to take shit but not give a fuck. It's being able to be the guy that can sit there and let the fucking hurricane blow by and just fucking sipping his tea because he doesn't fucking care. A large part of being dominant is being unfazed. That's what shows strength, okay? When you think about, like, movies where you got the big fucking guy, right? And maybe it's like an Indiana Jones movie, and the guy punches him in the fucking stomach or punches him in the head, and it's like nothing happened. Like he hits him with a fucking crowbar in the head, and he just stands there like, is that all you got? Like he's unfazed. He's not angry. Doesn't like you're thinking this guy's gonna get fucking angry when he hits him with this crowbar, and he's laughing. He thinks it's funny. He's just non-reactive, right? He just continued to walk forward. He thinks the whole thing is just a funny little game. Okay. That scares the fuck out of you. That's scary. I mean, imagine if you like hit some big guy as hard as you could in the fucking stomach, and you expect that he's gonna get angry or try to beat you down, but instead he just pretends like he didn't get hit at all. He ignores you. Like you're gonna be fucking scared now, right? You're gonna be really fucking scared. That's dominance. That's that feeling. That's when you feel like you can feel you're dominated. Okay? If you did that, if you got in a fight with someone and you clocked them as hard as you can, gave them your best fucking. That's the best example I can give you for this whole video of understanding this. You gave them the best fucking punch that you possibly could in the face. Okay? And they reacted zilch, nothing. You would be submitting to them instantly, okay? You would not, you would be like, I want to submit. They wouldn't have to force you to submit. You'd be like, I'm done. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, shit, done. Okay? You would be submitting, right? That's what true strength does. That's what true dominance does. It makes us want to submit, okay? Because we see that we're outmatched. We see that we're dealing with a superior force, okay? This is the raw fucking truth of this matter. If you haven't already, I know a lot of you have, take the Bulldog quiz. If you want to get into my private Bulldog Mindset membership, that's the only way to get in, okay? I talk about a lot of subjects like this, how to build dominance, how to become a more successful man, a lot of stuff that I can't really even get into on YouTube there in that Bulldog Mindset membership. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.